Hello, Periscope. Do we have people?
We have one person.
We have one person.
Two people.
Okay.
4 people.
The Tesla show? I don't think that's Tesla related.
No, but at least it
they're
has the
Tesla
name. It's so
fanboy.
exciting. And we're up at 24. This is good. It's like
all
a
right.
class.
So I think we should kind of go through this, right? Because this is kind of a lot of what I see is wrong with how modern companies communicate. So changing the world with AV, that's all great. This guy, then you have a big statement. Cautionary note on forward-looking statements. This isn't like a basically it's saying like we can't predict the future, right? So this is like thing one. No shit, right? This shouldn't have to be a thing. I'm not sure what kind of world we live in where it's like you have to make a claim that we cannot predict. But okay, let's move on. Vision. GM's worldview. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this that well because I was just talking about it with Vivian and like why something like this is absurd. So if you have something like the trade-off between socialism and libertarianism, there's arguments to be made on both sides, right? If you have like a trade-off between cameras and LiDAR, there's arguments to be made on both sides, and you can have a company that's committed to cameras or committed to LiDAR or committed to socialism or committed to libertarianism. But in order for that to like make any sense, you need to have like a reasonable, not like a really stupid straw man. You need to have like a reasonable, thing that you are. In order for you to be saying anything, you have to be able to reasonably imagine somebody saying the opposite, right? So let's look at these things. 0 crashes, 0 emission, 0 congestion. So could you imagine somebody coming out in favor of crashes? Good morning. Could you imagine some company coming out saying, well, yeah, that's not everything in engineering, and this is, shows you that these people aren't engineers, they don't think like engineers, is about trade-offs, right? If you're designing a microprocessor, you make a trade-off between, say, speed and power. Or you can make trade-offs between, like, reliability and cost. Engineering is all about trade-offs. I'm not sure what this is, right? Everybody wants there to be 0 crashes, but to say, like, GM's worldview, like, this is actually a unique and distinctive worldview. It's not. This says nothing. 0 emissions, 0 congestion. Nobody wants those things, right? Even you might have some people who may not care about emissions, but they're not opposed to 0. It's something that, like, everybody knows is better. This is saying nothing. Okay. We are redefining the future of personal mobility, right? So you then go through all of these things, and I mean, they're not. These are all different companies. You talk about electric vehicles, maybe you have like Tesla as the leader. You talk about autonomous vehicles, maybe you have Waymo as the leader. You talk about shared mobility, maybe you have Uber as the leader. I'm not... Okay. But, all right. So these sort of things. Yeah, committed to the future, strong core is the foundation for investing in the future, electrification. So here's another... interesting thing that I noted in here where they talk about EV is the foundation for autonomous vehicles. Why? Because it supports our 0 emissions future. Again, your companies are not being led by engineers, and this is why you will lose. They say like there is no AV without EV. I mean, of course there is. Right? Look, Waymo's doing it, right? Waymo's Pacifica, they're hybrids, but autonomous vehicles are very different from electric vehicles because if you had one autonomous vehicle, it would be incredibly useful. Just having you in one autonomous vehicle is useful. Having you in one electric vehicle is not that useful because you need infrastructure to support it. So sometimes I say things very quickly like, EV is a shared infrastructure problem, but it is. You don't need infrastructure to support autonomous vehicles. And it's important to note this. All the people out there talking about like V2V and V2I, you don't actually need any of this stuff. Electric vehicles, of course, the main thing that you need is charging stations. So unless you have quick charging stations, right? Even if you have a car that's capable of charging in 5 minutes, when you look at how many megawatts of power you'd have to pump through the thing. But this isn't going to be that long. Let's see, like, AV strategy, right? 94% of traffic fatalities are caused by human error. Everyone knows this. Parking. Okay, we believe all AVs must be EVs. I have no idea why that, like, are you making an argument here? Or are these just, like, statements? Independent. You know what else does this? Like TED Talks. You ever see that, like, and when I press this button, words will appear on the screen. You ever see the TED Talks look like that?
I love TED Talks.
Yeah, right? AVs have changed the world. Scale as a minor. Okay. So let's see if they get into the technology here. Yeah, cheaper than people. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, focus on making an AV safer than a human. Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. Lines will go up.
No numbers, but lines.
Bad lines will go down. But most lines will go up. Up.
Yep.
Okay. First mover escape velocity, transportation as a service. Again, the transportation as a service, I'm not really sure why. Autonomous vehicles make transportation as a service cheaper, but I'm not sure there is some truly critical threshold for it. The reason a lot more people, for a lot of people, using Uber would be cheaper than car ownership, but they're not making a rational evaluation about this. They're not making like a rational decision because most purchases are irrational. There's a huge advertising business which supports this. So, blah, 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 blah. So they're still talking about how they're going to do any of this. Safety is the gating metric. Okay, sure. GM is uniquely positioned in the IoT. How many times they say the word unique in this presentation? Okay, so execution. Talent is the foundation, right? So when you brag about talent, you brag about how you've recruited people from Uber and Google. Uber and Google are competitors in this space. How do you win if you're bragging about? It's okay. There's lots of ways you can still win, but you need something else, right? And I'll explain a concept in poker called domination, right? And domination basically looks like this, right? If your hand is ace king, this is a pretty good hand to have, unless somebody else at the table has ace, right? This is Texas Hold'em. How many people do we have watching? Have we watched?
79.
Wow, people are into this, man.
Yeah,
okay,
dude.
so let's say the flop comes over, right? Let's say so here you have player 1 sitting here with an ace, and you have player 2 sitting here with ace king, right? If the flop comes over and there's an ace on the flop, let's say it's something like ace 7 6, right? Player 2 thinks they're in a good position with 2 aces, but they're really not because player 1 has 3 aces, right? Let's even say it's king 7 6, right? Player 2 still believes that they are in a good position, even though player 1 is crushing them, right? Now, player 3 is of course sitting at the table with 8 9. 8 9, maybe they're suited connectors, right? Player 3 is in a better position than player 2. Right? Because think about how many outs player 2 has versus how many outs player 3 has. Even if the king came up, the only real way player 2 wins this, not with another ace, right? Another ace, player 3 is 3 of a kind, it's a 2 pair. Maybe this is going a little bit into the weeds, but even if another king comes up, that's the only way player 2 can win is if a king comes up, right? Versus player 3, which can win if either a 10 or a 5 comes up, right? And they'll have their straight, and straight's going to beat the other players in the field, right? So you do not want to be player 2. And I'll argue why Cruz is player 2 right now. So yeah, hierarchy of needs, right? All components need to be developed for a successful launch, right? The problem is the exact same slide exists at Waymo. But Waymo has more of these boxes filled in. I'm really hoping, like, why am I doing this? I'm really hoping some investors will be able to, hopefully, like, start to critically evaluate what this space looks like and realize why, if you're the ace king, if you're saying, I'm going to build what Waymo is building, how are you going to beat Waymo? So a bullet for AV technology, I mean, really? That's at least a statement. That's at least a statement where something's being said, and it's good that they're, Kyle Vogt is an engineer. But this is his section, right? And he's an engineer. You can tell that he's thinking like an engineer because he's making statements that have another, like you could argue the other side, right? Now, I'm not saying your side is wrong, but you are wrong by default if there is no other side, or you're not even wrong, you're just saying nothing. And this is something that everybody should use when they evaluate anything in the world, right? Like, think about the other position and whether it's a viable position. I think this would do a lot for polarization in the country, right? If people stopped, please start evaluating what is being said, right? And think about the other side, and don't attribute malice to the other side if there is another side, right? But if there is no other side, realize you're saying nothing. Cool. So, no silver bullet for AV technology. I mean, maybe there is, right? There was a silver bullet for Go playing. Maybe now I'll do a little bit of contrasting this with what Kama believes. So there was a silver bullet for Go playing, right? If you can kind of think of all the same stuff if you were trying to build a Go agent. You can imagine a company trying to build a Go agent. They're like, well, okay, so we're going to do some end game study, some opening move study, some Joseki study, right? And the truth is that none of this mattered at all. In fact, so much didn't matter at all that you didn't even need the historical data. You just needed to build one, maybe a silver bullet, your magical reinforcement learning algorithm in AlphaGo Zero. So this is a statement, and maybe it wasn't even made this way. Maybe it wasn't even made as a statement that could have another side argue. But I will argue the other side, and I will argue that the silver bullet for AV technology is reinforcement learning, is sophisticated machine learning. Because we live in the AlphaGo Zero world. That changed the world. Talking people changed the world. Deep simulation capability, right? Does Cruise think their simulator is better than Waymo's? Waymo has this thing called CarCraft. It's a very sophisticated simulator. Best simulator in the world right now. Great simulator. Wish I had access to it, right? Does Cruise think their simulator is better than Waymo's, right? HD mapping and routing. Who's the best mapping company in the world? Who do you use for maps? Well, you use one of three. Everybody pretty much uses one of three. You're either using Google Maps, Waze, or Apple Maps. And you're not using Apple Maps because it's your first choice. You're using Apple Maps because it came with your iPhone. Google Maps and Waze are actually owned by the same company called Google, which is also, Alphabet, which is the same company that also owns Waymo, right? So who is the best HD mapping and routing company in the world? Google. Proprietary AV sensors. Okay. So now you're telling me you're going to build custom LiDAR. So let's talk about the three things we have here. Simulation, mapping, and LiDAR. Let's write these on the board, right? That's really, because this is like a strategy for an AV company, right? Maybe I should have kept the poker hands on the board because that really is the analogy. If you have simulation, mapping, and LiDAR, right? So this is one path to self-driving cars. It might be the right path. I'm not arguing, like whether it's the right path or the wrong path can be argued on either side. Might Waymo win self-driving cars? I think if Waymo loses, they have a huge technology lead right now. Google has a notorious problem with rolling things out, and maybe this is somewhat what Cruise is betting on. But you're in a very bad position if you're counting on your opponent to make a mistake. right? If you're counting on if you have like a fundamentally different strategy from your opponent, you're in a much better position than if you're counting on your opponent to mess up. Right? Everyone who plays chess or any sort of strategy game knows this, right? You don't want to. If you're down pieces, you're like, but I know they're weak. I know they're gonna stupidly lose their rook. I mean, maybe, but when you look at advantage right now, advantage Google, advantage Google, advantage Google. So maybe execution has advantage Cruz, but you're arguing. We can put. We'll be generous, right? So execution might have advantage Cruz. I mean, to be fair, GM does actually know how to ship cars, and Waymo builds like 7. They built their own car too. It's not Waymo's car, right? I don't think GM cars are great, but if I had a choice between, I remember that time we went for the Chevy Bolt. $40,000 car, and it doesn't have power seats. It has a 8-inch resistive touchscreen. Like, really? I want my Model 3, man. I want a Model 3. If anyone out there wants to sell me a Model 3, I want to buy one. But but you're fundamentally like execution kind of hasn't happened yet, right? So you're counting on your opponent to make a mistake if you're Cruz. So maybe this is the traditional stack, right? Now there's another stack. The other stack is the ML stack. And this is kind of where Comma lies and where Tesla lies. So if you think about big data and machine learning. Now, you could of course make the same argument for Comma and Tesla between Google and Cruz. You can talk about how Tesla actually has both the advantages here. But we acknowledge this fact, right? And the idea is Tesla has a disadvantage. Tesla has a substantial disadvantage, and Tesla's disadvantage is the following. It's proprietary. I don't know how to spell that word, so we'll say it's iOS. And they also have EVs, right? So if you believe the following 2 things about Tesla, if you believe that Tesla's never going to license autopilot technology, which is probably pretty likely, then you can talk about this working okay for Comma, and you could also believe that Tesla will never build non-electric cars. And the thing here is autonomous is going to happen before electric because of that network effect that I talked about before. So you can talk about how we kind of have the advantage here because my zero emissions. I'm a fan of zero emissions too, but it's not my worldview, right? Let's go back to the presentation. But this is really the main point I wanted to make, right? Like, how are you going to beat Google? I wouldn't even judge this. Google understands their execution problem. Like, at least they understand what their own mistakes are. They did bring in a car company CEO. They brought in the Hyundai guy. You watch him at Web Summit. He's all right. He's all right. He understands where Google's previous failings were. Now, if I were Waymo, of course, what I would be doing is I would open the Pacifica platform up right now to people. Right? Just do it, man. Just ship it. You know who would have done that? You know who would have done that, Viv? Who would have done that?
Elon Musk?
Not Elon Musk. Who actually would have? Elon Musk might have done it. No. Travis Kalanick,
I was going to say
man.
that.
You know that guy would have crushed it.
Yeah,
you know that guy. Here's a thought experiment. This is a thought experiment we talk about sometime in the office, right? Imagine instead of Google Fiber, it was called Uber Fiber. You know that shit would be everywhere. They'd be crushing ISPs left and right. Comcast would be in a corner crying like the taxi companies are right now. But it's Google Fiber and not Uber Fiber, and that's why we still have Comcast. Don't interrupt our service, Comcast.
Yeah. We pay on time.
We pay on time. Cool. Yeah. So yeah. Go to market. All right. Okay. So this go to market again. It's the exact same slides right now that Waymo has. Right. This is literally Waymo's 4 requirements for launching as well. Anchored by valuable franchises. Do you have China strategy? All right, business. All right, cool. And then like
Biz dev.
Things that nobody understands and disclaimers. Okay, cool. But yeah, do we have questions?
Not really. People are excited for Uber Fiber.
Uber Fiber's gonna be sick, man.
Yep. Uber 5 is going to be sick. Someone asked before Comma versus Waymo, like why do you think that's different?
Well, okay. So you can talk about the traditional stack or the ML stack, right? Which one of these wins is a yet to be discovered fact about the world? Maybe this is even like LiDAR versus cameras, right? It's not we don't know yet which approach wins. So, Comma is a bet. I mean, to be fair, Waymo's got the aces and we got the 9-8. Right, of course, Waymo's got the aces. Cruise is the ace king, and we got the 9-8. Right, so if we go back to my poker analogy here, the nice thing about Waymo is valued at $10 billion, and maybe Comma's valued at 200 million. So that's a pretty big differential. We're talking 500x, right? 500x is actually a lot lower than the real odds of winning these hands, right? So I'm fine to be with the 9-8. I just don't want to have the ace king, right? I really don't want to have the ace king in this scenario because ace king has very few outs when someone at the table is holding two aces. I suited connectors. Right? I could flush too, right? That guy doesn't have suited. Maybe his ace king is suited. That's a little bit better. At least he has a few more outs, right? Any more questions?
Any updates for Neo users that want to convert to Eon?
Oh, you want to convert to Eon? You're gonna buy an Eon, man.
Buy an Eon.
Buy an Eon. Come on, conversions. Come on, buy an Eon. You don't have to buy an Eon. I mean, here's what I say about Neos, and I feel the same way about Neos that I feel about Rev B pandas. Rev B pandas right now still work. Neos will continue to work, they just won't be officially supported. They won't be tested, they won't be... But we're not going to do anything to gratuitously break them, right? It's not like... You always wonder if like Apple kind of makes the iOS worse on the older iPhones.
They do. Or they make it so it's like very difficult to run on the older ones.
Yeah, there's a quote from it's Bill Gates talking to Intel. I'm not sure if this is a real quote, but it sounds good. Hey, look, man. Intel, you guys keep building faster processors and we'll keep building slower operating systems. So yeah, I mean, what are our advantages over Tesla? You see, like the cool thing is, if Waymo wins and beats Cruise, they beat Cruise. If Tesla if Waymo really launches their service a year before Cruise has a service ready to launch, they'd have to be the dumbest people in history to not be able to scale that up and to not be able to, like, come on, that's an easy problem compared to, like, the technical engineering problem of the software, right? If Tesla wins and thoroughly wins, we win too. We win too in the same way iOS is never going to have 95% market share because iPhones are too expensive and they're only supported, they're supported by one company. And they, I guess there's no real corresponding infrastructure problem. I mean, there's no fundamental reason that Apple won't build things that look like Android phones, right? Which is why what you see in the iOS and AV. So why is Comma different from Waymo? Because we're trying a completely different approach. Whether this approach or this approach wins remains to be seen. This is a fact yet to be discovered about the world. And whether Tesla or Comma wins, I argue that there's no way Comma loses. Even if Tesla crushes it. Even if Tesla, in fact, if Tesla Autopilot, by the end of this year is level 3, thank you for the existence proof, right? Thank you for telling me that I know I can build something that good, right? Even if I don't know how it works, just kind of knowing makes it a little bit easier. And you can kind of think, okay, well, I know that works. All right, I'm sure I can figure out how to do that, right? And you see this in science all the time. You see that things get discovered really, really close to each other. So yeah, if Tesla wins, Comma wins. If Waymo wins... I don't think Cruise wins. I don't really see it, right? Unless GM wants to, of course, sell cars to Google at below dealership prices. They win a little. Keep your 10% margins while you can, right? Look at the Volvo Uber deal. Look at the Volvo Uber deal, right? Do you want to be Volvo in that deal? You just got a huge purchase order at. To be fair, you're now Foxconn, right? This is what happened in phones too. The phone makers that really wanted to differentiate themselves with software lost, and phone makers that were like, we're just going to build really nice hardware won. And you saw this, right? Like Nokia and BlackBerry are gone. Samsung is doing great. LG is doing all right. Right? But remember the phones Samsung and LG used to make? They used to make the crappiest flip phones. You got one of those phones in like 2006? Any other questions?
Nope. 86 viewers though.
86 viewers. We should convert these. We should can I play an ad right now and Periscope will pay me?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You have to just hashtag ad.
All right. Ready for an ad?
Yeah.
This is a comma eon. Comma eons are the replacement for your car dashboard. It's everything you should have wanted in your car. Now, unfortunately, this comma eon doesn't have any software in it because it's a very impromptu advertisement. But this is a great universal computing platform for your car. This is
and
for
when
sale.
you get yours, it'll have software.
When you get yours, it'll have software. Don't worry, the software's the software.
Yeah.
Where's the software, guys?
Yeah, this is the software guy.
The software guy.
He's not there.
He's not there right now.
Yeah.
We'll find him.
Yeah.
This is a Panda. Pandas are universal car interfaces. They turn carports that look like this into. Is everybody leaving because it's an ad?
No, we have more people.
Wow, people love ads,
People
man.
are asking about SUV, Honda Odyssey.
Oh, the Honda Odyssey, which has the upside down connector. Oh.
So.
No, I mean it works. It kind of works. Let some other people kind of figure out the Odyssey first. The connector is literally upside down, so the giraffe doesn't physically fit in the car. It's ridiculous. It's
They probably did that on purpose. They knew.
But they didn't do it on purpose. It's just never attribute to malice, but you can attribute to incompetence. So, by the way, this is not sold as a self-driving car kit. None of this stuff is sold as a self-driving car kit. We sell dash cams and other car peripherals. We give away free software, which is a driving agent.
Honda Accord.
The new Honda Accord is going to be easier to do than the old Honda Accord. The old Honda Accord used this weird LCAS steering. The 2018 Honda Accord, actually every Honda Accord comes with, I think they're still calling it Honda Sensing. So yeah, this is a Panda. They're $99. They convert this plug, which is available on every car made after 1996. What?
Yeah, keep talking.
What?
No, you're good. We got to hype our tour.
Oh, our tour!
Yeah.
How did I forget our tour?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
You got to stay with us for the rest of the ad.
With us.
After this break, we'll tell you who gets the roast. We'll tell you who gets the. All right, cool. So this is it's got Wi-Fi, USB, bridges your car to things that look like computers. Phones, of course, look like computers.
Jeeps in the future for.
Yeah, you can do it yourself, man. It's open source. Comma officially will support Hondas and Toyotas. Mm-hmm. Everything else is going to be community supported, but. We've seen pretty good community support. Tesla Model S, Chevy Volt.
Speaking of community support, we've got a tour coming up.
Oh, well, no, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We got to advertise for the last thing. We sold 3 products.
Shoot, I forgot.
And
Okay, I actually shipped out that third product today, so.
Oh, no, not that product. Oh, that product. Yeah. We have a 4th product, too. I don't have one here. Where's my hoodie?
Oh, people are asking about shirts. Are we going to sell shirts?
No, we only sell hoodies, and they're only overpriced.
Your hoodies? No, that's
not my hoodie. I don't know. Oh, is that a hoodie?
Yeah.
Oh, no, is this an old hoodie? This is an old hoodie.
It's an old hoodie.
No. You're not getting. You're getting.
You
get much nicer hoodies than that one. But yeah, no, we got hats, bro. We got hats. Yeah. You know, I feel like. All right. So this is a giraffe. Giraffes connect pandas even deeper into your car. This connector is available on a lot of Toyotas. Plug your Panda in like this. Plug your connector in like this. And then of course you have your USB cable to go in here to your Panda. And you go in back here. Check out the Eon without the screws. They're all going to come screwless. They're really nice. We're mass producing Eons right now.
Yeah.
So that just plugs in like that, and that will be an excellent dash cam for your car. Okay, let's talk about our tour.
Cool.
So it starts. We're going to have a kickoff event for the press. Who doesn't know about this yet? But we're having a kickoff event on the 14th. To kick off Self-Driving Car Awareness Week. Self-driving car. We should leave that on the board.
Yeah, it should always be there.
It should always be there. So on the 14th, we're going to have the kickoff for I gotta spell it right. I'm really bad at writing with a pen. Driving Car Awareness. This isn't even showing up. Week. What a terrible marker, you know? We have VC funding. We shouldn't be dealing with low quality markers. All right, cool. Actually, we're going to VC on getting more profitable, you guys. Shop.com.ai. You know what? You know who else? You know who would still be CEO of his company if it was profitable? Who would still be CEO of his company if it was profitable?
With Travis?
Yes, of course. Of course he would. But
Here's
it's
the
company.
theme of this.
This is dedicated to Travis.
Yeah.
I seriously hope you're doing well out there, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Uber's done so much good for the world. So much good.
So much good. I agree.
You think like Lyft would have like been aggressive and pushed it out to every city? No way, man. You needed someone to beat those taxis up. Yeah. So on the 14th, we're having a press event. And yeah, we're gonna let the press drive our we're calling them demonstration units. Demonstration units to demonstrate our open source software, OpenPilot, and then we will be traveling across the country. So how bad? I'm gonna be so bad at this.
Oh God!
Oh.
Here goes the attempt.
All right, so we got like Texas down
Good,
here, and then
yeah,
like Florida down
Florida.
here. Coming up the eastern seaboard, we're gonna like stick out
Oh,
Maine
God,
here.
there you go.
No, let's make Texas a little pointier. Is
Yeah.
Texas really pointy? I don't
Kind
really
of.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's down here?
I think you kind of gypped Florida.
I think Chip Florida's
Yeah.
longer. All right. Should we draw Cuba down here?
Yeah.
Where's Cuba here?
Let's go to the world,
All
actually.
right, Cuba. All right, we'll just put. We're not actually going to Cuba. Can we go to Cuba still? Or did they ban that?
You can go to Cuba.
No, did they ban it?
No, it's
All right.
still available.
So we are right here. It's actually in the middle of the country. People think of San Francisco as being north, but it's not really north.
We're in the middle.
We're about in the middle. So here's San Francisco. This is where we're starting for the Self-Driving Car Awareness Tour.
Awareness tour.
We're going to be driving across the country all the way back to where I'm from.
A never before seen event or tour.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Never before seen. We're going to be driving from San Francisco to New Jersey. In a self-driving car.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a lot of periscoping, so make sure to... Can you follow on Periscope, or is there a word? Twitter's word is follow me.
So follow on, yeah, and I guess tune in for
Go away,
Periscope.
man. Gonna follow his ass like Twitter. What a good line.
What a good line.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So we're gonna be plowing through California, through Nevada. Really boring. Here's like Reno. I don't think we're stopping.
We're not
in
stopping
Reno.
there.
No, everyone has been to Burning Man and stopped at Reno
That's
one
it.
too many times, which was once.
Right.
So we're gonna fly through Nevada here, right past Winnemucca. You guys know Winnemucca? You would know Winnemucca if you drove through boring ass Nevada a lot of times. Actually, there's one great thing in Nevada, and that's down here. That's Las Vegas, but we won't be going there.
No.
I will be going to LA this weekend for Nips though. So LA down here.
Oh, that's good because we're not going to LA, and a lot of people ask about LA.
No,
so,
I'm going to LA this weekend, but that's just for me
That's not
to
for
chill
Colin.
and.
Okay, so
I'll be
don't
speaking
find
at a Reader's conference.
That's right.
So here's Winnemucca. We're gonna fly through Winnemucca, and we're gonna stop right here in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is the first stop on the self-driving car awareness tour. Do we still have followers? Are people still watching us?
74.
74 people. Wow, what are you
I
guys
love
doing,
these people.
Man? It's work that work's boring, man.
Work is
Are
boring.
you going to South Bay today?
Yeah.
We're on the Periscope, but we're chilling for the self-driving
Hello,
car
Willem.
awareness tour.
Oh, nice.
We just ranted about the cruise.
Yeah, I was watching upstairs with Harold. It's a
Oh,
complete
nice.
shit show.
What?
Wait.
The whole slide deck.
Oh, thank God. I thought you meant
I thought you meant our
Periscope.
presentation.
That's a
right?
little rude.
We're not talking about rationality
Yeah.
and reasonability.
Yeah.
I assume it was like an 8-hour presentation or something.
If I had to actually sit there for that, I like applaud for like the GM executive. You had GM executive.
Jeez.
Nobody should let me run a company, man.
There's so many words in the slide deck.
There's a lot of words.
We're getting distracted and we're losing folks.
Okay,
So
all
we
right,
gotta continue. Yeah.
So Salt Lake City, and then we're gonna drive over here to Kansas City.
No, to Denver.
Oh, we're stopping in Denver. Are we actually gonna have a tour stop in Denver?
But we're not gonna have
I
a
think-
tour stop.
No, I think we're
Unfortunately,
just chilling
yeah.
in Denver. Yeah, we're chilling in Denver.
Just
So
quickly
maybe we'll make it.
chilling
Maybe
in
we'll make
Denver.
it purple. Or maybe we'll circle the tour stops
Nice.
in purple.
Good.
Right? Ooh, damn,
Professional.
we're good.
This is
All right,
good.
cool. So then we're driving like the long distance over here to Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City.
That's the one.
Not Kansas City, Kansas. Only Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
We're not going to Kansas.
We're
today.
not going to Kansas.
No, we're going to Kansas. We can go a little to Kansas today. Yo, one time I was in Kansas City and it was tax-free holiday, but only in like one of the states. So I went to the Apple store in that state part of Kansas City and not the other state part of Kansas City.
That's confusing.
It's a double city. All right, cool. And then we're going to be making the trip up here to Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
I've never actually done anything in Omaha. Omaha.
You're good. Omaha.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Tour
All right, cool.
stop in Omaha.
Tour stop in Omaha, and then a tour stop in
Sioux Falls.
Oh, well, this is going to be hard. I really can't spell.
SIOUX.
I really can't spell anything without Google, guys. Don't take this as a general hit on my intelligence. Sioux Falls, right?
And then we're going up north.
We're going up north.
Minneapolis.
Oh, I gotta stop in Minneapolis. Isn't there gonna be a tour stop there?
No tour stop. We're just
We're just chilling at the Mall of America, I think.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
going
we'll
to
just
Mall
write
America.
mini because that's as
Mini,
far as I can go.
yeah.
Down over here to Chicago,
Yeah.
where we also won't have a tour
We'll
stop.
have a tour stop.
But we will have a tour stop in Pittsburgh. Berg with an
With the
H.
H,
You know, with
yeah.
the H, right? Not Pittsburgh, California. And then we're gonna head down here
Philly.
to Philly.
And definitely a stop in Philly.
And that's going to be the last stop on our tour, and then
Yeah.
I will drive home to New Jersey.
Yep. So Philly happens on the
Cool.
23rd.
Wow. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops, as well as a press event in San Francisco. So you can kind of extrapolate out from the 14th. We're going to be publishing it. It's going to be like Warped Tour, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's the last year of Warped Tour. It's the first year of the self-driving
Yeah,
car
that's right.
awareness.
Still looking for
tour.
partners.
We're still looking for partners. Yeah, Cruz, do you want to partner with us on the self-driving car? No, but seriously, if you're in any of these cities and you want to set up an event, we'll have the car there.
Dude, Viv and Eddie from Kama are also joining.
Viv and Eddie
up until
from
Chicago.
Kama are joining until Chicago,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there'll be 3 of us. We'll all be in Kama gear. We're gonna make up some nice self-driving car awareness tour T-shirts. Man, I've always wanted to tour the country like Lil Peep. So now we're doing the recipes.
R.I.P.
Yep, but I've always wanted to tour the country. So we're doing this as a self-driving car awareness tour. We're gonna have the self-driving car available for people to try out. Wow, you can try a self-driving car? Yes, with Kama AI you can. Hopefully we're going to have OpenPilot 0.4 out by then when the software team shows up.
When the software team shows up, yeah.
I hope the software team's at home watching this.
Right.
Knows that we're all counting on them. We're all counting on them. That's right. So yeah, we're going to have that out and we're going to let you guys try it. And then we're also going to have our dash cam pandas and giraffes available for sale right on spot. We're going to get one of those little swipies. So we can do
card readers.
Card readers. That's the word. We're gonna get one of those. And you guys, you know what? Let me tell you about starting a company. I used to say don't ever start a company, but we're amending that. Don't ever start a company if you're not gonna have fun. You gotta have fun, man. You know who's not having fun? Whoever wrote that long legal disclaimer in the
So, someone's asking about 0.3.9. When's that coming out?
Oh, 0.3. Well, almost 0.3 coming out.
Pressure's on.
The controls is almost done.
Okay.
There's a list over there.
There's a list.
Don't show them the list.
Yeah.
When that list is done, then we'll launch 0.3.9. I'm sadly not going to have a new model. I take the failing for this, but it should still be pretty good. Cool. Any more questions?
People are stoked.
All right, guys. Self-driving car awareness tour. Thank you for joining us on Periscope, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, guys.